welcome back. Calm NOLA is one of the nonprofit organizations benefiting from the sale of The Tunnel. We just interviewed the author, and now in today's Impact Give Back, sponsored by Morris Bar, we are learning how this organization helps reduce the stigma of certain mental health disorders. Please help me welcome Epic NOLA Clinical Director Michael Dyer and Hub and Spoke Director Ashley Tony. Thank y'all so much for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Such an important conversation we are having. We talk about it all here on Great Day, Louisiana. And you know, I was talking to the author before we got started. Like I mentioned, such a powerful story. But what you all are doing at Calm NOLA, also powerful. I want to start with you, Michael. You know, you really all focus on this term called psychosis. For people who do not understand what that is, how do you describe it? And what are some of the symptoms we should be looking out for?
Okay, well, psychosis is a change in perception. We definitely have thoughts and perceptions that get detached from reality a little bit. And so in simple terms, it's that detachment from reality. People might think or see things different than we do.
So true. How does somebody develop this? Is this something that's genetics based? Is it because of the environment that we grew up around?
It can be both. So genetically, they can be at higher risk. If someone in their family had schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, then they would be at much higher risk. Trauma also is something that contributes to risk factors, and sometimes it's just chance.
Wow, it's so unfortunate, but so many people suffer from these conditions, so it's great that there is an organization like you all out there who is there to help. When it comes to symptoms we should look out for, maybe a family member, a friend who may be exhibiting some psychosis, I know you said it's a perception of reality, but what are some other things we should look out for?
Yeah, there's negative symptoms. So those are when people are a little bit more withdrawn. They might stop having friendships with people that they were really close to. They might have trouble with remembering things, or trying to do the things that were easy in the past become more difficult. And then there's the more common ones that I think people hear about: hallucinations, seeing things that other people don't, or hearing voices that other people don't hear.
Wow, and you know, you all work with so many different age groups. You work with people as young as 15 all the way up to age 25. How does Epic NOLA help?
So we've got a wide range of supports. So we'd have therapists and doctors. We also have peer support specialists who have lived experience, so they can share their stories from that perspective as a peer. We have a wellness coach that does diet plans, exercise plans. We have a nurse at our office. So it's a one-stop shop. We do everything there, and we can support people for a long period of time. If it takes a couple of years, we can use all that time.
Come on, it's a resource out there for people who need it, which I think is great. Now, Ashley, I want to bring you in on this conversation with the fabulous little headscarf today. It is so cute. One way you all are able to continue to provide these services at Epic NOLA, Calm NOLA, both of them are interchangeable words. You all have this fundraiser coming up on October 4th. What can you tell us?
Yes, so I can tell you that the fundraiser is in my mind. It's October 4th, starting at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. with our VIP happy hour, and the party is from 7 to 10. October 4th, yeah.
At Napoleon House?
Napoleon House.
And we're going to have what? Food, music? What else are we going to do?
Food, music, but the highlight of this event is highlighting people with lived experience, some of the people who come through our clinics, and it's to debunk the stigma that psychosis is not a dead-end diagnosis. However, it's more of a story of resilience and hope. And so those patients will be there showcasing their art and their talents. There's singing, there's cello playing, violin playing, piano playing, so you can see these very incredibly talented people.
And I'm glad you said that, because at the end of the day, just because you may suffer from a mental illness, that does not mean that's who you are as a whole. It's just a part of who you are. And what's so interesting is that, you know, unfortunately, the author of the book, The Tunnel, he lost his son to suicide because he was suffering from a mental illness. But let's talk about that. If someone suffers from psychosis, are they more likely to, unfortunately, commit suicide because of their mental illness?
Yeah, it definitely puts them at much higher risk. I think the number's about 3 times more likely to have a suicide attempt or completion of suicide.
And you know, you work with people who have these illnesses. What are some misconceptions that you can let us all know about? And how do we better communicate with people who may suffer from a mental illness like bipolar disorder or schizophrenia?
Yeah, I think one of the big ones is that people with schizophrenia are dangerous. And they commit crimes. And so one of the myths to be debunked is that they're more likely to be a victim of a crime than commit a crime or harm someone else.
It's so true. When it comes to like dealing with this condition, is this something that is curable, or is it only something that can be managed through medication and going to a supervisor and talking to the therapist and all of that?
Yeah, there's not a cure, but it definitely can be managed. And part of our clinic's goal is to decrease the amount of time that's untreated, because if we can catch it early and manage it really well, then long-term outcomes vastly improve.
Any requirements to become a part of this clinic?
Not that I know of, no.
Okay, that's good. Come on. We like resources. Remember, they work with age groups 15 to 25. Thank you all so much for being here today. A conversation that needed to be had. If you want more information about Calm NOLA and their upcoming In My Mind event on October 4th, log on to calmnola.org. All right, thank you.